So there are two ways in which you can convert this Excel data set into a data set that can be read for analysis in SPPS. The first way, which I'm going to show you in this video, is to do some manual recoding. The second, which is much quicker, is to run an R script, and I'm going to be showing you that in the second video. I'm showing you the manual coding because, first of all, it's a really good way of understanding exactly what it is that we need to be doing. Secondly, because some of you might not be that familiar with using R, and you might not you might find the idea of trying to run an R script might be a little bit too complex. It is quicker to use the R script, but you do need to be a little bit familiar with R. So I'm just going to show you how I would do this coding, and it's really quite simple to do. So let's start with this variable here, gender. As you can see here, the way that this is set up, we've got these little drop down arrows next to the variable name. If I click on this, you can see I've got the option here to filter. And what I'm going to do, I find the easiest way to do the manual recoding is that I'm going to select each response in turn and then convert them into numeric. So I'm going to deselect the select all here, and I'm going to select man, and then I'm going to click on OK. And now you can see that all I've got here are the responses for men. And simply I'm going to have a male as 1, so I'm just going to turn that to 1, and then I can just copy that down the rest of my, there. I've changed all of the codings for male into 1. And then I'm going to do the same. Then I'm going to select women, and again, women, I'm going to have that as 2. And then I can copy that and I can select that all the way down. Okay, so I've selected that. And then finally I've got non-binary. So I'm going to select non-binary, and they're going to be free. Now you might be thinking, why aren't I just doing search and replace? I have done search and replace previously, and one of the problems is that you have to be really quite careful with the search and replace, and I've sometimes found that I have to check everything. Some of the time you can find that Excel can kind of do replacing when you don't want it to do. I just find that this method is the more accurate method. So as you can see now, for gender, I've lost male, female, and non-binary, and I've just got 1, 2, 3. It's really important when you do this that you keep a record of this coding. You're not necessarily going to remember. So make sure that you're writing down either in a notebook or on a different file what this coding is, okay? The great thing about the R script I'm going to show you is that it will also generate an automatic coding. So once I've done all of that, it's really important that I select all, and now you can see I can see my entire data set, and gender now has the numeric coding. So simply I need to do that for all of the other variables. So again, I'm gonna, for age, deselect, select all, then I can select, sorry, didn't mean to do that, just select 18, okay, and then that can be 1, and then just want to copy that down the rest, okay, so I can copy that down, and then go back to number set 25 to 30, and that's going to be 2, so again, copy that down the rest of the rest, okay. And then finally, I think I only have 3 age groups, which makes life a little bit easier for me. And then I just have 1 person in there that's going to be free. Again, keep a note of that. Do remember, when you finish doing your coding, it's really important that you get the entire data set back. So again, age groups being recoded. I'm not going to show you how to do any of the others. I'm just going to show you what you need to do for breakfast. What I need to do here is I need to be inserting some new columns, just that new columns being a little bit wider than I need. So I'm going to insert some new columns. They're all becoming a little bit too wider. So if I do insert some new columns, and these are going to be my new dummy variables. So I'm going to call this one, no, I don't want to do that there, I want to select I want to call this cereal. I want to call this toast. I want to call the next one hot food. Remember, I'm going to not have a space, so I'm going to put an underscore. I need some more. I'm going to need pastry. Doesn't really matter the order that these come in. And then I'm also going to need one called fruit. And then I'm also going to need another one for, okay, no breakfast. Now this is where it does get a little bit laborious, because in order to do this manually, I'm just going to make those just a little bit smaller. So those are a little bit smaller. So what I need to do here, just need to have it so I can see the breakfast, and as I can see, that one is going to be 1, and that for cereal, I can just leave all of those as blanks, or I can just do a fill of 0 all the way down. So unfortunately, it's a little bit laborious. This person here has to be 1 for toast and 1 for toast here, and then I just need to fill all of that in. Okay, so we need to ensure that all of that is filled in. In fact, probably what I would say, kind of an easy way to do this is to set it all as your kind of default, your dummy, so I can kind of separate that out, and then I can just fill all of that across. Okay, so fill all of that across. So if I filled all of these across so they've all got zeros, I now just need to turn that to a 1 and that to a 1. Anyone else got a toast? That person's got a toast, that person's got a toast. It's a bit of a pain to do it this way, which is why I'm going to show you an R script that can do it automatically. Do also just actually want to go back to frequency, because there is something that I also put in frequency, which I want to show you. You can see here that we have 2 missing values. You get lots of missing values in questionnaires, and you need to know what to do with missing values. If I click on the choices for frequency, you can see I've got blanks. So what I would do for this is that I would do the same coding 1 to 4 times a week. So if I, again, unselect select all, select 1 to 4 times a week, that's just going to be 1 to 4 times a week. That's not the most frequent. That I'm going to give that a 2, and then I can go back to every day. That's the most frequent one, so that can be 1, and then again, so I just want to ensure that I copy that all the way down. So I do that for all of my different categories, but you see we've got a different one here, which is blanks. Okay, so I want to select blanks. So these are missing. And the conventional way in which we indicate missing values so that we can tell SPSS they're missing values is that we often give them a minus value. So -9 is kind of like standard, -9. So I'm just going to call those blanks -9. And that means that when I get this data into Excel, I can tell Excel that those -9s are missing. I'm not going to carry on doing the rest of this. It's quite a laborious way of doing it. I'll kind of do that on my own off the screen, and then I kind of can show you how you can get this data set into SPSS.